It is 5:31. We are commencing the Calexico City Council regular meeting agenda for July 19th, 2023. Ms. Gabby, calling to order, roll call.
Mayor Ureña,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Romo,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manzanares is absent at this time.
Absent.
Will join via Zoom. Councilmember Moreno,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Just for the record, Councilor Manzanares will be joining us under AB 2449. It's a new bill that became effective in January, and it allows for members, if they have a just cause, or also for emergencies, to participate remotely. He did provide a reason why, and this does qualify as just cause, and that's why he'll be joining us remotely for today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional items to closed session? Any additional items?
None.
None? All right, we will adjourn to closed session at 5:32. Good evening, everybody. It is 6:41. This is the open session of the Calexico City Council, Calexico Redevelopment Successor Agency, and Calexico Financing Authority. We'll begin with a call to order and a roll call.
Mayor Ureña,
Present?
Mayor Pro Tem Romo,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Manzanares,
Here.
Councilmember Moreno,
Here.
we have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Ready? Begin.
City of Calexico Mission Statement. Together, we wish to provide protected and efficient services and encourage a respectful manner to improve the quality of life for all in our unique border community. Viva Calexico.
Mr. Moreno?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Please bow our heads. Heavenly Father, tonight I ask for your blessings. Help us as leaders how to fix things, what we need to learn, how might we need to change, and whom do we need to listen to. Remind us that no matter who we are, we treat everyone with respect. Our children, the elderly, the poor, and the homeless. May we always be guided by your Spirit and the spirit of community and justice. I pray this in your holy name. Amen.
City Attorney Campos, closed session announcement.
We have no reports from closed session. Also, just for the members of the public, just want to let the public know that Councilor Manzanares is participating via virtual today. There's a new law called AB 2449 that does allow council members to participate remotely when there is just cause. And he does have just cause, and that way he's able to participate remotely for today's meeting. So.
Thank you. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. Any motions?
So move.
So moved by Mr. Moreno,
Second.
second by Ms. Roma. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Manzanares, aye. That's unanimous. Moving on to announcements. These proceedings may be viewed on the City of Calexico website at www.calexico.ca.gov the Friday following the City Council meeting. Community office hours with Mayor Ureña will be held by appointment. Please contact the City Clerk's office at 760-768-2102 to schedule an appointment. Las horas de oficina comunitaria con la alcaldesa Ureña serán por cita. Por favor, contacte la oficina de la secretaria municipal al 760-768-2102 para agendar una cita. Moviéndonos a presentación, moving on to presentations, we do have first and foremost a proclamation honoring Gabriela T. Garcia, City Clerk on retirement after 33 years of service to the City of Calexico. If we could stand up and have a standing ovation before we read this proclamation.
Gary.
you very much.
Congratulations, Ms. Garcia. We'll go ahead and read this honorable proclamation. Whereas the City of Calexico City Council believes that it is important that we honor and acknowledge the people who contribute to the citizens of Calexico. And
Whereas the Calexico City Council here today expresses its appreciation to Gabriela T. Garcia and honor her for her distinguished 33 years career with the City of Calexico and for her loyal and dedicated services to the residents of Calexico. And
Whereas Gabriela, sounds like so. Whereas Gabi began her career with the City of Calexico on November 20th, 1989, where she held the following positions throughout her years of service. Secretary of Public Works at the Public Works Department, November 20th, 1989 to August 9, 1998. Executive Secretary Specialist Redevelopment Agency, August 10, 1998 to December 31st, 2006. Executive Assistant Redevelopment Agency, January 1st, 2007 to February 18, 2013. Executive Assistant City Manager's Office, February 19, 2013 to June 30th, 2018. Deputy City Clerk, City Clerk's Office, December 1999 to June 30th, 2018. City Clerk, City Manager's Office, July 1st, 2018 to July 31st, 2023.
Whereas after giving the City of Calexico 33 years of loyal and dedicated service, Gabriela decided to retire July 31st, 2023, to spend time with her son, Dominic Cortez, her family, and finally began on her personal bucket list. And
Whereas the City of Calexico wishes to honor Gabriela T. Garcia for her distinguished service to the citizens of Calexico, this great city, and commemorate her many years of loyal service.
now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Calexico wishes to express its sincere appreciation to Gabriela T. Garcia for her loyalty to the City of Calexico and wish her much happiness as she begins this exciting new chapter in her life. In witness whereof, I hereunto affix my signature and the official seal of the City of Calexico on this 19th day of July 2023. Congratulations, Ms. Garcia. We do have a presentation of this proclamation. Accustom all honorable retirees. Congratulations. I don't know where you did 33 years of service. Pero gracias, and thank you for helping us get to where we are today. Your legacy here will not be forgotten. Thank you very much. Would you like to take a picture with the community members, with the council?
Yes.
Nomás hay que mover las sillas.
No te vayas, Gaby.
Or is city manager? Carlos. El Carlitos también. Sí, una más. Una más con la placa. Llevo una foto. Una más. Yes. Presented to Gabriela T. Garcia in appreciation for all your hard work, loyalty, dedication, and service to the City of Calexico throughout your 33 years, November 1989 to July 2023. You will be missed. And so your new adventure begins. Congratulations. Got it? Got it? All right. familia de Gabriela, or community members that would like to take a picture with their city clerk?
¿O voy por usted?
Emilia, you know what? Can my city family join me too?
All of them.
Sure.
All of them.
Yeah.
Surprise!
No se vale llorar. La familia también. ¿Quién está tomando la foto?
Toma una foto.
Agarró la
They're gonna take a picture with her mom and her sister.
Gabi, a few words? A few words?
From yourself, o si no, vamos a hablar nosotros.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not much for speeches, but because I'll cry.
Se vale llorar.
But I want to thank the city of Calexico for a wonderful opportunity. It has been a fun ride. I want to thank Mariano Martinez for bringing me to the city of Calexico. He was my first boss. And actually, my first boss was Pepe Lopez when I worked at the swimming pool at the age of 16. And I also worked for the city of Calexico. But I want to thank everybody I work with, all the department heads, all the staff. You guys have given me so much help and so much support throughout the years. And I will miss you all. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Mr. Garcia, any parting words?
Sure. I mean, I wasn't really prepared also for a speech, but Gabi, I mean, you're just such a refreshing presence in the city hall. You know, I don't know how we're gonna fill your shoes, you know, because you're leaving such big shoes to fill. I mean, shack-size shoes type of thing, you know. So, but anyway, you know, your work has been always appreciated, not just from council and councils, previous councils, but also the community. I think you were the city also. You represented the city. You were the face of the city, because throughout the years, the one constant presence was Gabi. And to me, it's going to be really difficult not seeing you here. But I know that you're going to go to bigger and better things. You have your beautiful family that, you know, really also deserve to have time with you. Because I know that you have put, you know, on hold, you know, sometimes your life with your family, with your son. I know how much you care about your son. I know this will be a great opportunity for you to reconnect with other individuals that you haven't had a chance. So enjoy that, enjoy your life, be you, just, be free and enjoy, all the best years of your life that you still have ahead of you. Thank you. Thank you for everything that you did for the city of Calexico.
Thank you, Councilman.
Vicealcaldesa.
Thank you. Yo te lo voy a decir en español. Gaby, eres una mujer muy íntegra, muy preparada, muy sensible. Las personas que te conocemos y muchas de las que están aquí que te conocen de más años, creo que te tienen en un alto estima y con mucho corazón. Yo te digo que tienes muchas bendiciones en tu vida. Mira, el ver a tu mamá, a veces que la veo en la iglesia, y ver cómo la cuidas, cómo te cuida ella, porque se cuidan las dos, ¿verdad? Y tu hijo, y tu familia, amistades. Creo que Dios te ha dado mucha gente que está a tu alrededor, que te quiere, que te estima. Y yo, el tiempo que tengo de conocerte, siempre ha tenido ¿cómo les puedo decir? Un respeto. Bueno, no ha habido, a veces anda con 100 cosas a la vez y siempre tuvo tiempo, siempre. Tiempo para atender, tiempo para contestar, siempre para ayudar. Eso nunca lo voy a olvidar, porque no importa quién sea la persona, tú tienes una manera, un don que Dios te dio de tratar bien a las personas. Y ¿sabes qué, Gaby? Eso, donde quiera que te vea, va a ser un placer verte y siempre estarás en mis oraciones. Te estimo y muchas gracias por todo lo que has dado por esta ciudad. Que Dios te bendiga. Sí.
Thank you, Mayor. Gabriela. 6 words. You're the face of City Hall. It's been an honor to serve with you, alongside you here at City Hall. You're a great asset to the city of Calexico. You helped us throughout the years that we have been here, as well as City Council. Not only done that, but you've had other duties. You've helped with the commissions, the committees, and those proverbial elections throughout the years. You have many of those. You're gonna be missed. Señora, yo usted la conozco toda mi vida y le quiero dar gracias por darnos una hija excepcional, una amiga para mí, una trabajadora en mi municipio. La vamos a extrañar mucho, pero se lo vamos a entregar a usted para que la disfrute jubilación y viaje con ella mucho. Okay, y gracias por darnos una hija excepcional. So thank you, Gabby. I wish you a well-deserved retirement, and the doors will always be open for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Manzanares? Gilberto?
I hope that you all can hear me fine. Gaby, you have been of incredible help to me, not only as onboarding me into the council and giving me direction and walking me through this difficult position, but also helping me when I was just outside of council as a member of the community. I know I always bugged with requests for information and whatnot, but you were always so happy to help me and responding promptly to my emails. And even though you might not know them, I recently had a conversation in which with my family where your name came up, and actually my mom still remembers you. You might not know my mom, but she still remembers you because from when she came to the city hall to have questions or pay the bills or whatnot, And me decía que si todavía está Gabriela ahí, and I was like, how do you know Gabby? But I'm assuming that you left that much of an impression on her because she said that you treated her kindly. That speaks very high of you, and I really do wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. And I hope that you enjoy whatever endeavors you engage in your future. Thank you so much, Gabby, for your years of service.
Thank you, Mr. Manzanares.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manzanares.
Miss Gabby, a beautiful city runs on beautiful people with the most beautiful of intentions. Very few people can say they've been in this city for 33 years. No city manager, no police chief. You are an example of the female leadership that runs hard in our department, exemplary, and you deserve the most beautiful and lengthy and meaningful of retirements from here on until the very last day that you're here with us. Muchas gracias. Moving on to the next item, we do have another presentation, a moment of silence for the passing of Mr. Alejandro Armenta. Would you like to speak, Ms. Margaret, first before we do the moment of silence?
My name is Margaret Sousa, and I am the oldest sister. I was a year and 1 month older than Alejandro Armenta, and I am grateful and honored to be here and given a recognition in honor of my brother Alejandro Armenta. I want to thank the Calexico City Council for this recognition, and Alex and I lived here in Calexico. This is our hometown. We left Calexico at the age of 18. Alex and I went to school here. We only did our senior year in El Centro. So we consider ourselves Bulldogs, and so am I. I consider myself a Bulldog, and I love this city. Alex, at the age of 29 years, became the first and the youngest probation chief for Imperial County. He worked for Imperial County for almost 14 years. His name is actually in a plaque outside that every time I come here, I always like to look at that plaque. Alejandro Armenta, city manager, I believe it's 1992. He was here for 4 years. Alex maintained the integrity of the public trust by not accepting monetary offers from developers. Thank you. And another individual who attempted to get special treatment on several lots at the Nosotros subdivision. They picked on the wrong guy. Giving his law enforcement background and high work ethics and values, and las chancladas que le daba mi mamá, Alex secretly worked with the FBI and reported to the proper authorities, as so stated in the Ivy Press. The people who tried to bribe him were convicted and did federal prison time. As his older sister, the loss of my brother Alex has torn my heart apart. I will miss him, and he will always be remembered for the good he did for the community and the legacy he left behind. I do want to tell you that I remember then how many people, big shots from this community, I would say half of them, I remember turning on Alex. They were so sad because that developer couldn't be buying them beer, food, give them money, and that's sad. But that happened, and that's true. So you know what? This town has been in a lot of crises. I want to take advantage right now that I'm here to voice my concern on another matter, on the bickering and fighting and arguing of the community leaders in this town. Many people that I love very much and respect are on both sides. Many of those people have been in my home, and they have been welcome, and they will always be welcome. And it's very sad. I will not pick sides. I can't. I am an advocate, and I go out and fight, and I think some of you know that I do, but this is one time when I do study both sides, and to a certain degree, both sides have some truth. Okay, so I just want to take advantage and ask you to please move forward. And please, and I think that has been said, please don't laugh at the people for who they are, for what they wear. Unfortunately, that has happened so much. You gotta be rich, you can't be poor, you gotta be skinny, you can't be fat, you gotta have a big house, you can't have a little hut. That is sad. I love this town, and I live here. I love a lot of people here, and it does break my heart. There's enough blame to go around. Okay, I think all of you know there is enough blame to go around, because a lot of people were in a position where they sat there and hopefully could have done something. I remember how much I wanted to be in the city council. I remember how much I wanted it. I am so happy that I ran one time, and I did lose by about 5 votes from the last vote getter. And then what happens? Calexico, dear, they didn't pick the person that had fallen behind. No, they picked a friend, and they stuck somebody in here. That right there told me a lot. So you know what? Let's stop acting like Mexicali or Mexico City. Please, let's stop. Because we have our kids here, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. And I hope, from the bottom of my heart, we have unity here. And I'm sorry if I've offended somebody, but this was important for me. Thank you. Gabriela, congratulations. You are a wonderful person. I know you never take sides. You're very discreet, and you did your work well. God bless you. And of course, my dear friend right here, she's a wonderful person. I worked with her with the county, and if some of you can have a little bit of tolerance, she's only been here 1 year, for Pete's sake. Okay, so thank you very much. I appreciate it, your time that you gave me. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sosa. We will go ahead and bow our heads at this moment and close our eyes, and with our deepest and most sincere wishes and dreams, with our most sincere hopes, dreams, and memories of Mr. Alejandro Armenta, cerramos los ojos, enfocamos nuestra energía colectiva espiritual en agradecer la presencia del señor Armenta en la comunidad, de sus recorridos, sus impactos, sus enseñanzas, que todavía aquí, hoy y por siempre, estarán con nosotros. Cerramos los ojos, guardamos silencio en su honor. Muchas gracias. Que Dios bendiga y cuide el alma del señor Alejandro Armenta mientras hace su camino hacia un mejor lugar. Muchas gracias. Does council have anything to say at this moment for Mr. Armenta? ¿Algo que decir? ¿Alguien que lo haya conocido? No? We'll be moving on to...
Yes, I had a short, Margaret, I had a short interaction with Mr. Armenta when he was a city manager here in Calexico. I was in Calexico Police Department, and he always, to me, he always treated me with respect in everything we did. So my condolences to you and your family.
Our sincere condolences.
So, nada más, de nuevo, me uno al dolor de la familia Armenta, and anyone that has served, the city has left a mark, and that, all of us here are witness to that, and we just need to continue to build on that legacy. So let that serve us as a, just as an inspiration for us to continue to do good for our city. So thank you for lending us your brother and sharing with us, some of your memories of your brother. So thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, señora Margaret. Sus palabras son de veras que conmueven. No tuve el honor de conocer a su hermano. Hay mucha gente aquí en Calexico que probablemente no le entendió todo lo que usted dijo, porque pido una disculpa, no tenemos traducción. Y el señor Armenta fue un administrador de la ciudad de Calexico. Hay una placa, por cierto, a la entrada de este edificio cuando se inauguró. Y bueno, me hubiese gustado también que hubiera dicho algunas palabras mientras no tenemos una traducción, porque la gente que no está entendiendo estas reuniones y que están interesados en saber qué es lo que está pasando en la ciudad y no tenemos esa traducción, le pedimos a algunas personas que sean tan amables en decir algunas cosas en español. Pero yo le agradezco sus comentarios y le pediría, si usted quiere decir algo a la población hispana sobre su hermano, le pido permiso al mayor, que usted puede decir algo, porque pues todo lo que usted dijo, alguna gente no lo entendió, señora Margaret.
Muchísimas gracias. Ya escucharon a la señora Gloria Romo. Lo que yo dije en inglés fue que mi hermano fue city manager aquí y que cada que yo vengo aquí yo veo la placa de él y me da un orgullo haber sido una Armenta. Y les he dicho que en un tiempo, allá en el 92, lo quisieron sobornar, era cuando se estaban fincando las casas en nosotros, las nosotros subdivision, que por cierto yo estaba trabajando vendiendo esas casas. Pero vinieron aquí y era un compadre que él quería mucho y le partió el alma. Y vino y le dijo que le iban a dar una feria y que capear y que la típica, ¿no? Y él inmediatamente, obviamente, le llamó al FBI. Esas personas terminaron en la prisión, hicieron tiempo. Eso nomás. Y les dije también que a lo mejor fueron los chanclazos de mi mamá, pero sé que era una persona, mi hermano, muy justa y muy correcta. Obviamente no era perfecto, nadie lo es, ¿verdad? Pero recuerdo qué tristeza me dio cuando esto sucedió, que casi la mitad del pueblo estaba ofendido, que por qué le había hecho eso a esas gentes. Pues, ¿por qué se lo había hecho? Levantaron a uno personas que donde quieran que las miraban, a la que miraban que les pagaban la borrachera, la cena, repartían dinero, es más, traía dinero en la trunk del carro y daba. Qué tristeza que el pueblo haya gente así, que nomás anda viendo a ver como el rastrillo, que es por ellos. Si muchos de ustedes que están aquí de veras quieren a la ciudad, bájenle unas rayitas. También dije que hay mucha gente que yo quiero mucho que han estado hasta en mi casa, a los dos lados de la contrariedad y de lo que están haciendo, ¿no? Un movimiento. Y yo creo en eso, yo soy activista y yo creo, y yo veo que los dos lados tienen mucha razón. Yo he hablado con personas y he escuchado, tienen razón un lado, tienen razón el otro lado. Y les agradezco mucho que ya le bajaron eso de estar, y todavía falta uno que otro, ¿no? Faltando al respeto. Yo corrí para City Council hace por allá unos 6, 7 años. Yo quedé en la última que no entró, creo que agarré 4 votos después de Mr. Hodge. Y pues así, a mí nunca se me va a olvidar que a la hora que hicieron su repartición y a quién iban a acomodar, nunca lo llamaron a uno, ya tenían arreglado a quién iban a meter. Es triste eso. Porque yo me quedé esperando, bueno, porque alguien se fue, a lo mejor me llaman. Pues ahí estaba sentada todavía, ¿qué me iban a llamar? Entonces, ¿sabes qué? Es triste este pueblo. Es triste este pueblo. Es triste las cosas que hacen. Piénsenla bien, por favor, es lo que les quiero pedir. Piensen bien en sus decisiones y en su comportamiento. Yo quiero mucho este pueblo. Y yo veo algunas gentes muy molestas, les veo en la cara, lo siento mucho, las quiero mucho, pero yo no me voy a meter en esto. Gracias, es todo lo que les quería decir.
Muchas gracias, vicealcaldesa. Señor Manzanares, council member.
Señora Sousa, le agradezco de corazón sus palabras. De veras que razonan conmigo lo que usted también dice. Por algo también corrí para City Council, porque al igual que usted, yo también miré lo que estaba pasando en esta ciudad. Pero aparte de eso, de veras, de todo corazón, le ofrezco en el más sentido pésame a la familia del señor Alejandro Armenta, y que por favor lo celebren en sus memorias. Y
Muchas gracias, señor Manzanares. Thank you, Mr. Armenta. We'll be moving on to public comments and public appearances. Note not to exceed 3 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the City Council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you, and when you come to the microphone, please state your name and place of residence for the record. While members of the public are encouraged to participate, it is unlawful to disturb or delay council meeting with personal or slanderous remarks. The City Council is prohibited by state law from taking action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. If you wish to comment, if the item you wish to comment on is on the public portion of the agenda, we will take your comment when we get to that item on the agenda. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Y como bien dice la vicealcaldesa, como pocas veces la leemos en español, hay que traducir para hacer esa invitación a la comunidad hispanohablante, que aquí estamos todos representados igual y la participación de todos es equitativa en este cabildo, este recinto tan sagrado. Comentarios al público, apariencias públicas. Este es el tiempo para el público hablar con el cabildo en cualquier materia que no está en la agenda, que esté dentro de las materias que trata el cabildo de Calexico. La alcaldesa te reconocerá y cuando venga al micrófono, por favor, denos su nombre y su lugar de residencia para el récord. Los miembros del público se les invita a participar. Pero es contra la ley es contra la ley extender la Junta de Cabildo haciendo comentarios personales o con cizaña. El Cabildo Es prohibido por las leyes estatales de tomar acción o discutir materias que no están en la agenda impresa. Si la materia en la que usted gusta comentar está en la porción pública de la agenda, tomaremos su comentario cuando lleguemos a esa materia en la agenda. Por favor, dirija todas sus preguntas y comentarios al Cabildo en general. Tenemos 3 peticiones para comentarios en general y 3 para la número 9. We have 3 public speakers general and 3 for item number 9. We'll begin with Mr. Jesse Garcia, Commissioner. Ex-Commissioner.
Good evening, Jesse Garcia, 600 block Lincoln Street. Today I'm going to talk about the sidewalk or lack of sidewalk on the 500 block of Grant Street. A few months ago I came to you, this second council, to ask about a sidewalk. For some reason, in the section of the 500 block of Grant Street, there is no sidewalk. There has never been a sidewalk. There's about 4 or 5 houses there. Once I talked to a couple of people who live there, and they told me they would like a sidewalk to be installed in front of their house. Well, I came up to you for this, and I haven't had a response. Mr. Mayor, can you tell me when will it be done? When will those people get their sidewalk?
I can't answer that question at this moment, but we'll make sure that Ms. Palomir follows up with you.
Okay. Another one, palm trees. I know we don't have enough manpower like we used to back then, or equipment to do all the palm trees, singing on palm trees like before. But I believe we could do at least 2 residents. These people called me a long time ago. They got 2 palm trees in front of their house. Total about 4 or 5 palm trees. One is the Calocas resident at 522 7th Street. They would like their palm trees trimmed. The other one is the Romero's residents at 105 Emerson. They got 2 palm trees. And again, this is not the first time I've come before you for this. So I guess you guys got together and discussed this also. Can you tell me when will it be done? Mr. Mayor?
We unfortunately, we can't answer. We're prohibited by state
You
law.
can't answer that one either,
Yes.
okay?
But there's a specific code talking about those palm trees on parkways. We'll make sure that Liliana checks in on those addresses.
You're on Parkways.
Or, yes.
The last one is the downtown payphones. Again, this will be like probably the 3rd time I come for the council before this. We say, let's make downtown look beautiful. Oh, it's not happening with those ugly looking payphones there. I mean, they're obsolete, they don't work, they're full of graffiti, and people use them as trash cans. So, you probably got together again and discussed this. When will it be removed? Mr. Mayor?
We can't answer anything.
Can't
that's-
answer that one either.
Anything that's not on the printed agenda, we cannot discuss.
All right, so I guess that's it for right now. I'll be back next time, and I would like an answer for all of these.
Sure.
So you got
For,
time
for,
to prepare.
yes, for the next meeting, we'll
Yes.
make sure to put it in some way on the agenda so that we're legally able to.
What's that?
We'll make sure to put it on the printed agenda so we're legally able to respond to you fully.
All right,
See?
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just want to clarify for the record, the reason you're not supposed to engage in a dialogue during public comments since the agendas doesn't provide that. Obviously, during council comments or during city manager comments, that's an opportunity to address some of the questions, so that way people do have the information. So,
Thank you, Mr. Campos. Mr. Guillen, Joseph?
Good afternoon, Calexico's council members. My name is Joseph Guilin, business owner in Calexico downtown, 30 years old, so I'm kind of proud of that. Today, we the people will finally be heard. Since the beginning of the pandemic, some of these elected officials ad nauseum would say that these changes are what the citizens wanted. I don't remember ever getting a call asking my personal opinion. Well, in my opinion, you prioritize image over honesty and transparency. And guess what? The public rightfully becomes skeptical and they begin to ask questions. Instead of addressing critical problems facing our city, you guys focus your efforts on spinning narratives and deflecting blame, i.e., calling people the trigger words. This tactic not only wastes valuable time and resources, but also leaves critical challenges unaddressed, and it perpetuates societal issues that require genuine solutions. When our elected officials feel that they can escape consequences through clever messaging and manipulation, they will be less inclined to act responsibly. This lack of accountability can foster a sense of entitlement and lead to further unethical behavior, harming the very people you are meant to represent. As concerned citizens, it's crucial that we stay informed and critically assess the information presented to us. Let us not be swayed solely by polished PR tactics, but instead seek out unbiased sources and encourage open dialogue. Let us work together to demand accountability, transparency, ethical leadership from those in power. By doing so, we can ensure a more trustworthy, responsible, and united political landscape for the betterment of Calexico. Fight for the powers to be, Calexico Recall 2023. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guillen. Ms. Hurtado?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Joseph. I really appreciate that. As downtown business owners, we're here for all of you because a lot of our issues here started with the concerns of downtown. So this is not personal. This is actually very much business. Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to shed light on an important issue that affects not only our downtown district, but also the very fabric of our society and our city. The issues of having migrant housing in the middle of our downtown of Calexico. The proposal that you have given, a 300-bed facility for this shopping district, it's a no. We are in such a crisis. Let me begin by acknowledging that immigrants is a complex and sensitive topic. We should always strive to treat migrants with compassion and respect, recognizing their human rights and the contribution they can make to our community. However, it is essential to address the potential risks associated with concentrated migrant housing in our downtown area. One of the primary concerns is the strain on resources and infrastructure. Downtown districts are already bustling with activity, accommodating businesses, residents, and tourists. Introducing large numbers of migrants into such an environment can lead to overcrowding and put significant pressure on housing, healthcare facilities, transportation systems, and public services. As a result, our own citizens may experience reduced access to resources, longer wait times, and overall decreased quality of life. Another danger in this issue is the potential for social tension and cultural clashes. When people from different backgrounds, traditions, and values come together, misunderstandings can arise. Without adequate integration programs and community support, this can lead to divisions, prejudice, and even conflicts, which threaten the harmonious coexistence of all residents. Furthermore, the concentration of migrant housing in the downtown area could affect property values and business sustainability. As safety concerns rise, potential investors might be deterred from establishing or expanding their enterprises in downtown, affecting our own economic growth and job opportunities for both the migrants and the locals alike. We must not ignore the impact on the migrants themselves. By settling them predominantly in the downtown district, we risk isolating them from broader opportunities such as access to better education, training facilities located in other parts of the city or in the county. Integration into society becomes more challenging, leading to potential marginalization and limited social mobility. To address these concerns, we need a balanced approach. Firstly, it is important to recognize that it's crucial to distribute migrant housing more evenly across the city and the county. spreading the responsibility and benefits across all neighborhoods, not just Calexico. Secondly, comprehensive integration programs must be established, promoting cultural understanding, language, education, and job training to help migrants become more active contributors to our community. Additionally, local authorities should collaborate with nonprofits and community organizations who they are the ones that should be responsible for this sector of our city, to offer support and assistance to both migrants and the existing residents affected by these changes. In conclusion, we must approach the issue of migrant housing in downtown districts with thoughtfulness and foresight. While it is essential to show compassion and solidarity, we also need to recognize the potential issues and find balanced solutions that benefits primarily our downtown. By doing so, we can create a thriving and inclusive community where both migrants and residents can live side by side and enriching others' lives while preserving the essence of our downtown district that we love so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hurtado. Any other general public comments, Ms. Gabby? No, none? All right, moving on to city manager's report. Is on item number 9. Adelante.
Good afternoon. I have a Ms. Falomir that is going to give us a timeline of the Rockwood Avenue as requested by city council members. Just to give you a brief history of how the promenade project began and when was the discussions began related to the Rockwood Avenue being closed. Ms. Falomir, is she there? Oh, she's in front. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Mayor, council members. Back in 2016, the City Council talked or discussed about the closure of Rockwood Avenue between 1st and 2nd Street. It was an idea that was brought before City Council. In 2018, the city was able to submit a co-application with the Southern California Associations of Government for the temporary closure of that area. SCAG was awarded a $250,000 grant, which SCAG was awarded the $225,000, and the city had a local match of $25,000. Back in 2019, there was a downtown implementation plan that was presented back to City Council, which at that time City Council approved that downtown implementation plan, which included the closure of Rockwood Avenue between 1st and 2nd Street. Following that, that's when the Southern California of Governments started requesting proposals to get an engineer on board to assist us with the process of, going out there, doing public outreach, as well as getting an engineer to design the closure, the temporary closure, and going through all the process. During that time, KOA engineers were hired through SCAG to assist us. There were several community outreach as well as a walk and audit that was done in 2022. Also in June 15 of 2022, I came before the City Council and did a presentation regarding the Rockwood Rollout Project. We also had a lot of meetings, community meetings, as well as stakeholder meetings with KOA, the city, and SCAG to see what were the options or what the community wanted for that particular portion of the downtown Calexico. So once we got the feedback, then KOA prepared the design for said project. In September 13, 2022, also KOA came down and they visited each business that was in between Rockwood 1st and 2nd Street, and they spoke to either the employees or the business owner, property owner, and informed him about the project that we were having. During that time, the Calexico Arts Council also got a grant of $25,000 from the Bloomberg to do a mural on Rockwood Avenue between 1st and 2nd Street. And that came before City Council for review and approval. On October 1st of 2022, KOA mailed out 60 postcards to all the property owners in the downtown area to inform them about our upcoming project. On October 19, 2022, City Council authorized the city manager to sign an MOU between the city and SCAG so we can begin the project. On November 2nd, 2022, City Council approved the bid documentations so we can start advertising, as well as City Council approved for us to overlay that portion of the street in the downtown area. On November 10th, 2022, city staff began advertising the closure both in English and in Spanish. On November 14th, they paved the street, and then the process began where the Calexico Arts Council came in and did the mural in December 3rd. After that, we had our Christmas tree lighting event. And then in January, mid-January, that's when the items began to come to deliver, the trees first, then we received the chairs, and then the lighting. So in essence, the project, I guess you can say, started officially in April. Part of the scope of work of this project is for the project to be done temporarily for 6 months. After the 6 months, then the city council would have the deciding vote if they wanted to keep it temporary or if they wanted to keep it permanent. Again, this grant was only for a temporary basis, and depending on city council's decision, then we can proceed whether to close it officially or to remove the items that are currently there.
So this is just for informational purposes. We cannot discuss the item, but we want to give you a scenario of the timeline, and we're going to bring the item for discussion and for an action and the upcoming city agenda.
Ms. Colio, can we briefly translate, or would you like me to briefly translate just the key years? Is that something you can do, or?
Yes, as an informational item, yes.
Me or tú? ¿Quieres que yo? I can do it. I mean, I anoté los puntos que estaba tocando Liliana. Para la comunidad estamos hablando del Rockwood Avenue Promenade Project, el cierre de la calle Rockwood. Comienza con discusiones el 2016, Cabildo empieza a discutir, 2018 manda la solicitud para fondos al SCAG, la Asociación de Gobiernos del Sur de California. 2019, abril 23, es cuando nos otorgan los fondos, y desde septiembre del 2019 empezamos a aprobar los elementos y la implementación de ese cierre el 2019. 2022 es el año que tiene la mayor actividad, cuando tuvimos una auditoría caminable para la comunidad para ver cómo iban a estar los elementos. Se les mandó notificación a todos los propietarios del downtown, mínimo unas 60 invitaciones para diálogo se otorgaron, y ahora estamos en julio. El proyecto era piloto de 6 meses. Estamos por decidir como cabildo. La señora Esperanza mencionó que vamos a discutir y actuar sobre el tema en las próximas juntas, ya que los 6 meses de piloto se han caducido.
Mayor, one question, if I may. Just one question. It's not a discussion or anything, just one question for the city manager. And the purpose for today's presentation was to give us the time frame of this project, that's all?
Yes, that's all. And the reason why we did it under my report is because there have been questioning and phone calls and everything, so we just want to give an informational item for the public to understand it.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, City Manager. Commissioners, any commissioners present? Oh, Ms.
Oh,
Palomé,
one
adelante.
quick comment also.
Yes, Mr. Garcia, just to inform you that in January of 2023, we submitted a grant application through the Congestion Mitigated Air Quality Act, and we were awarded approximately $230,000 to do sidewalk improvements, and it does include the 500 block of Grant Street. Right now, that project is under the engineering phase. Once it's completed, then I can request the funding from the Department of Transportation. So it will take probably about 6 to 8 months for us to do the actual construction of the sidewalk. But we do have it in our capital improvement program for fiscal year 23-24.
Thank you. That's it for my report.
Thank you, Ms. Colio. Moving on to Commissioners' report. Are there any commissioners that are present in the audience today? Comisionados de la ciudad que gustarían aportar o comentar? Commissioners? No? Seeing none, we'll move on to City Council comments, and we'll start again on my right side. Mr. Garcia, if you could lead us off.
Sure, I'll be brief. I just want to thank, city staff, especially with all the construction that is going on 98. It will continue for a few months. I know that the side street also was in really bad shape, and that the residents in that area, that housing complex, were concerned about driving on that street. So the staff came out and, patched, as much as they could, the potholes right there. So at least that was an improvement. I know it's very minor, but I mean, appreciation to staff and that, working in this heat and, parks. I know we don't have a lot of people, but the ones that are out there, I'm very proud to see them, working and doing what they can with what we have and what we provide, which is not a lot, but they do miracles. So thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Ms. Alcaldesa?
Sí, thank you. Señora Colio, tuve una reunión por teléfono con la señora Paula, no recuerdo el apellido, de Servicios Sociales,
Paula Llanas.
Llanas. Encontré al señor Miguel Figueroa, anterior administrador de la ciudad de Calexico. Les comenté de la persona que murió, probablemente por golpe de calor. El señor Legaspi sabrá más de esto que yo. Probablemente porque retiraron el cuerpo, aparentemente con el informe que nos dio el señor Legaspi, parece ser que la persona era una persona indigente, murió casi en el lado de la ciudad, del centro, ¿no? Y bueno, esto me trae a mí una gran preocupación porque hay mucha gente en la calle y está haciendo un calor bastante fuerte. Entonces, platiqué con el señor Figueroa, tuve pues la suerte de encontrarlo ahí en el condado, y se ofreció a apoyar la señora Colio y también la señora Paula. Ella me llamó el día de hoy para poner un lugar lo más pronto que se pueda. Van a buscar fondos alrededor del condado, con organizaciones. La manera, hay un lugar refrigerado aquí, pero está un poquito retirado, que es donde está la biblioteca, ¿verdad, señor Legaspi? Pero ahí nada más atienden de tal hora a tal hora. Entonces, necesitamos un lugar que se pudiera estar abierto más tiempo, sobre todo en las horas pico, y que pueda esta gente tomar agua, estar un rato ahí y pues salvar un poco más de vidas, ¿no? Porque sí podemos encontrar ahora las temperaturas que están arriba de 45, 48, 50. Y sí le voy a agradecer mucho, señora. Están en la mejor disponibilidad para ofrecernos el apoyo y pues usted rendirá algún informe sobre esto. Entonces le dejo esto en sus manos, por favor, y la próxima reunión pues nos contará, ¿no?, qué es lo que vamos a hacer. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, vicealcaldesa. Regidor Moreno.
Thank you, Mayor. Just two things. Number one, we are finally going to get together with the Binational Health Commission with Mexicali. Ms. Roma and I had been preparing for that hopefully next week. City Manager's office is also looking into drafting that that agreement. It's not binding agreement. All it says we're going to get to a table and discuss how we can collaborate in the near future, or any, for that matter, for any health-related issues that affects here in Imperial County, especially along the border. So I'm really looking forward to that. With those talks with the Mexicali authorities. The other thing also, I did attend with Mayor Ureña today at the airport with the Assemblymember Garcia's 36th district presentation of a check for the Remington project. I really thank you for that memo. I know you made the invitation. Thank Mr. Garcia for that. We spoke on behalf of the city how we're very thankful for that project moving forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Councilman Manzanares, councilperson.
So I just want to echo a little bit of what Councilmember Romo mentioned right now, which is in regards to the cooling stations. As you know, we did just have a person possibly pass away due to the harsh conditions. And if I remember correctly, a couple of meetings ago, actually, Councilmember Garcia brought up the point of our efforts in cooling stations. So I just want to make sure that the city is following up on that. We would hate to see any more deaths attributed to heat. But that's all I have to say for now. I'm going to save my comments for when I'm in person. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, council member. I'll make my comments as brief as possible. Haré mis comentarios lo más corto posibles, pero sí me late decirlos en los dos idiomas, empezando con el español. Bienvenidos a todos a la Junta Regular del Cabildo de Calexico. Agradecemos mucho su presencia. Y como bien dijo la señora Margaret, que todos aquí tenemos respeto hacia ella y su palabra y su sabiduría. En estos tiempos de turbulencia política que no son nada nuevos para este municipio, y al contrario es algo bastante saludable el hacer preguntas que se respondan por sus líderes electos. Tenemos en cuenta que tenemos que estar en la misma página, en la misma base de hechos para dialogar y poder hacer decisiones en comunidad. Hay dos cosas que podemos hablar. La primera, desafortunadamente, es transfobia o discriminación hacia los electos públicos, que lamentablemente ha habido. Ustedes vieron lo que pasó con el lanzamiento de la bandera LGBT. Tuvimos un incidente bastante feo de agresión odiosa en contra de esa comunidad a la cual yo pertenezco. Y para esos temas sociales, pues van, vienen. Yo soy una persona transgénero, soy una persona género fluida. A veces me ven en presentación masculina, a veces en presentación femenina, pero no es nada engañoso. Al contrario, es mi sentir de cómo yo me presento, a veces en la ropa más humilde, en lo que he podido colectar como persona que ha visto mucha discriminación laboral, mucha discriminación en general, a base de mi identidad de género y preferencias sexuales. Pero para todo lo demás, la base de datos o la base de hechos está en esto, lo que es el presupuesto auditado que tenemos anualmente, año tras año, que les dice exactamente dónde estamos poniendo los recursos de este municipio y cuántos recursos hay. Hay 3 páginas muy importantes aquí, lo pueden bajar en internet también. Ya hicimos públicos los presupuestos antes del 2015, antes no estaban, ya están disponibles para el público en general de forma digital. Hay 3 páginas muy importantes. La primera es la número 6, donde vemos muy claramente dónde comenzamos a tener problemas, que era el 2014, donde empezamos a correr mucha gente. Fuimos desde $7 millones hasta pegar un tope de negativo 3 millones, una pérdida de casi $10 millones que de ninguna forma se ha pagado. Al contrario, hemos cortado mucho personal desde hace 10 años. La página 38 les indica el presupuesto del año del año actual, el año pasado y el año presente. Esta página es muy importante porque aquí les lista todos los departamentos: policía, traffic control, animal control, bomberos, planeación, ingeniería, obras públicas. Y nomás para resumirles, del año pasado a este año generamos $700,000 más. No es un incremento muy grande, pero ese es el incremento que generamos. ¿Dónde se fue ese incremento? Solamente 2 departamentos tuvieron incrementos. La policía se llevó $400,000 en incrementos, obras públicas $400,000 en nuevas inversiones, y administración sacrificó $600,000 para el presupuesto de este año. Recreación subió $87,000 a su presupuesto bastante limitado. Los demás departamentos no vieron ninguna alza, ningún cambio en su presupuesto del año pasado al año presente. ¿Qué les indica? Este cabildo, en su presupuesto adoptado, que ustedes he notado que tienen mucha curiosidad, la mayoría de la inversión nueva, de los ingresos nuevos, fueron a la policía y a obras públicas justamente. Y si no me creen, está en la página 38 y 39 del presupuesto auditado de este municipio. Es muy importante hablar con la base de datos, con lo que es la verdad auditada por terceros partidos, y esta es que este cabildo toma muy en serio la seguridad de esta comunidad y por lo tanto ha puesto la mayoría de las ganancias que hemos tenido, que son pocas, en el departamento de policía y el departamento de obras públicas. Como se han dado cuenta, no tenemos suficiente gente, y esto ha sido un problema de casi una década desde que empezamos a perder dinero, y hace muy difícil hacer hasta las cosas más básicas, los funcionamientos más básicos de este municipio. Nos faltan obreros para limpiar y mantener los espacios públicos, mantener las calles, planeadores para otorgar los permisos y planificar la ciudad, policías, ni se diga, la seguridad pública, los bomberos. Es un problema que ya va atrás hace 11 años, y mi mayor deseo es que, sabiendo la realidad de nuestro municipio, que hemos perdido a lo largo de unos breves años más de $15 millones, retomar estos hechos, analizarlos y solucionarlos juntos, con diálogo en la misma base de hechos que tiene el municipio. I'll go ahead and repeat my brief comments in English. I'd like to welcome you to the Calexico City Council. I'm very, very happy and pleased that you're here. I'm very pleased that the community is taking such great interest, especially on the budgetary state of the city of Calexico. And in these turbulent political times, it's very important that we stay focused on the facts and that we dialogue about things that are verified by third parties, on things that all of us agree to be true, so that we can make realistic solutions together. I've seen a lot, unfortunately, of discrimination, a lot of topics about my gender identity, my sexual preferences, and unfortunately, there's no book on who's right about that, but about everything else that has to do with the business of the city council, it's here in our adopted budget. And so I wanted to turn your attention to 3 pages that are particularly important to understanding the situation of the city of Calexico. The first one is page number 6, and this shows our general fund operating reserve trend, our balances, that includes Measure H, and we see that we start having problems at around year 2014, where we start with $7 million, 2013, where we start with $7 million, and just in a couple years, drop like a rock all the way to negative $3.5 million. That's roughly a loss in 2-3 years of over $10 million. And in that process, we've unfortunately had to fire a lot of people. Previous administration has reduced police salaries by over 30%, and it has contributed to the city being unable to do even the most basic functionalities across all of our departments. Another one that is very important is page number 38 and page number 39. This is the actual expenditures or the actual budget between last year and this year. We've only had $700,000 more to work with, which is not a lot of new money. But I'd like to let you know, just in general, across departments, where that increase went. From last year to this year, police saw an increase of $400,000 in their department. Public Works saw $400,000 roughly also in new investments. Recreation saw $87,000 increase total in their department, and administration again sacrificing about $600,000 to make this budget work. I've heard a lot about how this council does not prioritize spending in public safety, but our general fund proves black and white with numbers that just about half of what we've gotten, which is not much, is going to the police department and public works, whereas all the other departments have not seen substantial changes in their budgets. There's so much more to be done. Obviously, those millions of dollars that we lost in that period have not been paid back. On the contrary, we've been taking from Measure H, which was supposed to fund fire, police, and other departments. We've been borrowing from that and, been left with not that many people to run the city. So as we move forward, we'll definitely be proposing a lot of solutions to this financial problem. We can't wait. We've already been 11 years in this situation. The projections show that we'll be healed in terms of staffing levels in 5 or 7 years, but our city realistically can't wait that long. The needs of the people are right now, and as a community, we must take this opportunity to make solutions or make proposals that fix the problem in 1 or 2 years, not 5 or 7. So as we move forward, we hope to present those, discuss those as a community, and be able to solve these problems as soon as possible. And I just wanted to share that budget resource with the community. Mr. Manzanares, I believe I skipped you, or did he or no, he did say a comment. Yes. We'll move on to the consent agenda, where we do have some comments for item number 9. Ms. Catalina Santillan.
So with that, are we going to pull it?
Yeah.
So move to pull that item from the consent agenda?
Consent, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Moreno. Vote. Roll call vote.
No, over there.
Mayor Ureña,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Romo,
No.
Councilmember Garcia,
Yes.
Councilmember Manzanares,
No.
Councilmember Moreno.
Yes.
Motion dies 3-2. Ms. Santillan, are you ready for your public comment? Sure. Just make sure they complete the public comment slip.
So you're doing a presentation on item 9 without even being pulled?
No, we are taking public comments on the consent agenda.
Well, yeah, but in order to discuss that item, you have to pull it, don't you?
No. Public comments can be received on the consent agenda, and then the consent agenda
Yeah,
gets
but as a
voted on.
presentation?
There is no
Look,
presentation.
I'm a little confused here.
So what's going on is
You don't have to necessarily, the consent
Pull it.
agenda, you can approve it all at one time. You can specifically pull an item to vote on it separately. You can take comment on a specific item, but not pull it for separate vote either. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll get comment on specific items, but not pull it for separate vote.
so
So it just depends how.
in this case, we're not pulling the item, and we're just taking public comments on a particular
You could,
item.
if
which is
that's the
what
will
we're
of the
doing.
council, you could do that.
And if we take public comments, can we act on it and vote on it?
Yes.
Or approve, right?
You just have, if we have to take public comment
It will
before
be
we,
just presentation.
Well,
before we
my
take
concern
action.
is, that's fine, however we, and I understand. I understand, right? I mean, he's a presiding officer, he can do that, that's fine. My question is, how am I going to be able to vote on something if I don't get the citizens' perception? I need their input on an item.
Correct. If we have speaker cards on the items, and if people have speaker cards, that's when they
Okay,
get read.
that's all.
Yeah,
Okay.
they'll get read before we take action on any
Good,
item.
okay.
Correct.
All right, as long as the public is aware that they'll be able to speak.
Correct. If
Thank
we
you.
have a speaker card on the consent
thank you.
item, we hear the comments before we act on the
On
items.
the whole agenda, yeah. Ms. Santillan?
So it just stays on the consent.
Katie?
I think Katie's asked, there's three of us to speak, and she'd just like one of us to go do it. I'm Damone Sorensen, the CEO of Pioneers.
Adelante. Go ahead.
Okay? Well, good evening, everybody, and thanks for everything you do and for giving us some time to talk with you tonight. I just wanted to give you a couple of facts. I love your comment about facts. I think that's very important, that we look at data. Is that not working very well? That we look at data and facts to make sure, and truths. You know, there's a lot of rumors and different statements going around about this particular topic and many topics in general. And I think it's always important that we should hold people accountable to the truth and make sure that we do that, as particularly as community representatives. So for Pioneers, you know, I wanted to give a little background. You know, the financial situation for your hospitals in this community, everybody's aware that they've been struggling. Pioneers lost $9 million last year, and that's kind of why I'm here. I was part of a consulting firm to come in and identify opportunities to turn that around. And we've done that. We've taken that $9 million loss to the books aren't quite closed for June of this year, but down to a $3 million loss, and we're going to have an income next year. Cross our hearts and they don't pass the minimum wage law, which will throw everything off, will probably kill healthcare in this community. But I think that's important, and so that's, from Pioneer's perspective through this whole thing, we really feel like we wish this was working more in a collaborative fashion, that all of the parties were coming together and working towards one end, the good of the community versus what's in it for me and how do I save my control or my power. Pioneers doesn't really care about the power. We agree that there should be one county district. There's some reasons that we think that ought to be the Pioneers district expanded rather than just creating a new one. If you think about it, like for example, the nursing home was going out of business in Brawley, so we purchased it to save that asset for the community. And when you do that, when you change organizational ownership, you lose all of the contracts and things that you had in place. So in this instance, by creating a new district, all of the agreements we have with payers, all of the contracts we have with other people, the minute you dissolve us, they're gone, and we've got to renegotiate all those. So it causes an administrative nightmare, and it can cause loopholes where, you know, you think about what we do, we take care of patients. So for some period of time, those patients that are coming to our organization may not have an ability for their payer to pay us. And that's very serious. You know, we have turned our place around, but it's still very fragile. So we think it's really important that that through this process, we do it in a way that doesn't hamper the potential of losing both of your hospitals rather than just one more. So a couple of things in this bill. I think it was really important to note that in the bill they state that the financial demise, or however they said it, of El Centro is imminent. I really believe that. I've been doing this a long time. There's no way you can lose the kind of money that they have and be in that situation and pull out, particularly in a market like this. It's just very difficult. But I think it's also very important, you know, our position is that we want to have one hospital organization, but you would still have two campuses. So that's why it's very important that we come together and work together, because if that hospital closes down completely, in the state of California, it's a nightmare to try to get things opened back up again. So it's really important that we try to accomplish that. Pioneers can take care of all of the people in the county during these times, in the slower times, but in the winter when there's more residents and more care needed here, we would need both. We need to have both facilities available. The other thing I did want to point out in the bill that is inaccurate, let's talk about data, let's talk about facts. There's the statement that El Centro Hospital is the only facility that services El Centro and the surrounding areas. Last year, Pioneers had 47,000 ED visits. 17,000 of those were from Brawley.
7,000 of them were from El Centro. 5,000 of them were from your community. 5,000 of them were from Imperial. The rest were from all over the county. So we're not here just for the people of Brawley. We're here for this whole county, and we intend to continue to serve them. I think those are the key points I wanted to make, and I appreciate your time and your ear tonight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Does this work? Oh, yeah, no, this is fine. Can you hear me?
Your
Hi,
name?
my name is Sally Nguyen. I had a comment
Sally?
card.
Nugent?
Yeah. So my name is Sally Nguyen. I am actually a resident of Calexico, and I was just here at the Heffernan meeting for the same issue. And Heffernan, it was actually Mr. Arena who asked the same question. That was, what is this bill doing for Calexico? How does this affect Calexico? Well, as a Calexico resident who pays into taxes for the Heffernan district, it doesn't do anything for any of us. All it does is takes our money and puts it into a countywide district. That's what it does. We pay into these taxes so that we can try to get some kind of services, so we can get ambulances, so that we can get emergencies, clinics, things down here because we lost our hospital, and I get that. But this is not the way to come back, because all we're doing is losing control of our money after that. It doesn't say, the bill doesn't require El Centro to sell their hospital to us. So the whole goal of, oh, let's save healthcare in the Imperial County is not achieved by this bill. So I would ask that you all take a closer look at this bill and to reconsider or to consider the ratification that you guys are having on your agenda. Thank you.
I have two slips for Damon and for Catalina. Catalina, adelante.
Thank you very much, council members and women. I really thank for everything that you do. I know that it's a big sacrifice and things you do being in the political arena. I realize that. But having bring to your attention about AB 918, there's a lot of things in there that are not really clear, and I can tell you that a lot of the county people don't know what's in that bill, okay? And the thing about that is that that bill's already changed around 4 times. Some people say, well, how come you didn't object to it before? We did object in a sense that we felt that when that bill was introduced, people should be able to vote on it, not being somebody given to you, and this is what you're going to do because I'm telling you to do that. That's not the way to do it because it affects lives, and that's what we want to do, is that we want to take care of lives. We don't also want to be played in the political arena, which this has already started. I understand that they're saying you have to be objective, you have to be respectful, and you have to have transparency. Well, this bill isn't it's not transparent. The last change was on July the 7th. We had asked for more information, and when I asked for it in July 5th, because there was Assembly Garcia had asked us to do certain things, which we followed his request, and then when I asked, that was in June the 8th, when I asked him if we could follow up because we had fulfilled the request that he wanted, and we finished at the end of June, I was denied the fact that he could not meet because he was busy, and I understand that. So we got the bill, the amendments in July 7th. When we saw that, that was a complete new bill. And I can tell you that LAFCO, the Board of Supervisors, they all voted prior to that change. They went 2 of them. Okay, this major bill that just passed, that's a lot of changes. And I would please reconsider that you look at what you have first and examine everything that's in there. Because at the end of the day, when you annex all these cities, what's going to happen is that that bill says that the voters from the annexation cities will be able to vote whether they want to pay for the hospital tax or not. We have to be realistic. How many of those people will want to take the tax on? Hey, if Calexico and Brawley are paying for it, why should I pay for it when I'm going to get it free and I can go to the hospital? So we have to look at the danger of all that. Yes, it does talk about other things that we will take in consideration for El Centro and look, but they got themselves in that depth, and they come and they say, oh, it's because we had seismic. Well, so does Brawley. I don't know if it was one of the council members, Mr. Olivas, that said last week that Brawley, if we had to retrofit, that we had to turn down everything that we had in Brawley. That's not true. It isn't. Part of our hospital is retrofitted. part of the bonds that we paid for this retrofit were paid by the residents of Brawley. Why are we going to incorporate everybody to help us? We got ourselves into that. We had to take care of that. Not only that, El Centro did the same thing. Why are we going to take their debt when we're being forced to take them in certain things? Okay, there's things that we have to compromise and work. As a matter of fact, we started that resolution back in January with LAFCO. So as you know, LAFCO was created by the state to be able to provide and do their due diligence to see what is the need in here. Why did we have AB 980 to come? Is it an urgency? It's not an urgency for Pioneers, but obviously it's an urgency for El Centro because they're going to go broke in August. Okay, we got paperwork that states that. So we don't mind helping. They have infrastructure that they have. We have infrastructure. We can go and work together and use both hospitals. Now, if one collapses, do you want to bring both of them? I mean, El Centro's on the verge. Can we help in taking them over? Sure we can. Why don't you ask these right questions up? They had a consultant back in January. They let him go. They fired or they let him go, okay? They had a reason to be here, but they didn't like that reason. You should be able to ask about that. You also ought to have a forensic audit on the way they spend their money, okay? I'm not pointing fingers. You'll get answers right there. So it's about leadership. Yes, COVID hit hard, but it's a way you manage it. You need to look at the management on it. We turned ours. It had to do a lot with management also. Not any different with El Centro. Why did they fire their CEO after being there for 2015? UCSD was in there. Does it make sense that they're still there after all this mess that they have in there? And it is a mess. It's concerning because it's affecting the lives of individuals here. Now they want to include the lives of the whole county. Why are they suing LAFCO? I don't know if you were aware of that they're suing LAFCO. El Centro City. And they also asked for my 700 form, Ryan Kelly, and from Yerk. That's getting a little bit personal right there. Did I, as president of the board, say, hey, let's do the same thing to them? Let's play those little games. No. We have nothing to hide. You want something to know about me personally, and I'd be more than happy. I can tell you what my business is, personal. I will more than happy. We have nothing to hide at this point. The suit with LAFCO, my understanding is that bill that goes to LAFCO goes back to the county, and maybe one of you can correct me, goes back to the county, and City of El Centro is going to pay for that. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. Mr. Moreno, is that correct? Does that make sense? You have these lawsuits going on, these little game playing by El Centro City Council, and you know that the City Council from El Centro is also board members of El Centro. So please, I asked you, reconsider the bill. We can talk. We want one health district just like anybody else. Somebody did make a comment earlier and said to us, well, if Pioneers expand, are you going to let us come in? We don't want the control. We want all of us to work together. If Pioneers were to expand, we leave it the way it is. Calexico too, El Centro, if they join us too, and let's have 5 or 7 of them individual. We want for everybody to work together. And right now, everything's being fragmented. And this AB 19, this bill AB 918 is fragmenting everybody because a lot of people can tell you, we don't know what the bill is all about. You know, it's being changed and changed and changed. We want to know the truth. Where is this going to end up? Does Calexico and Brawley want to be continuing paying for this hospital tax? I know I don't, but if I have to, I will. But if somebody else is going to use it, we all have to work together on this. And just remember that LAFCO and the Board of Supervisors voted for this before this last bill. So you have to be very careful what you're voting for. And like I said, we didn't fight it. We fought it because we wanted the residents to vote. But we didn't know what was coming in. July the 7th, we knew. By July 10th, we were in Sacramento. And so, yes, we were blindsided at that, but now we're going to go in there. So please reconsider and have your vote. Wait till the final bill comes out and then look at it. And we'd be more than happy. We have, our attorney was here. She's turned that to pieces right there. Like I said, we'd be more than happy. Vote for something that your conscience is going to help you, because then at the end of the day, when it comes to being reelected, that's really going to sit in the agenda of a lot of people. And not only that, you're going to hurt people that can't afford to pay the taxes. So we have to move on things like that. We have to look at and be sincere. Be sure that the The facts that you get are going to be straight. I was really offended when Mr. Olivas says, and so did Assembly Garcia at the Senate, said, you have to completely destroy Pioneers to be retrofitted. Not true. If you want to see our papers that we have there, that they're fitted, what we have retrofitted and what we need to have, but it's not all of it. Okay, so when we fight back, and this is what we talked about there at Pioneers Memorial Hospital, we're going to fight with the truth, transparency, fact, and support of what we say. And as you know, we didn't say anything the last couple of months because we wanted to see where this bill is going to head. If it was going the right way, hey, we'll join in there. But it is just so fragmented right now and one-sided. It can't be like that. Sure, they're going to make Calexico the administrator for a while because they're going to use your money that you have in Hefferman Board reserves right now. That was talked about it. They're going to use our assets in Brawley and everything that we have. So please reconsider that this has to be a bill that's going to help the whole county, not just one hospital. And like Mr. Sorensen said, one hospital's going down because of the mess they had financially. Why don't you have them do a forensic audit? Why was it? Was it all COVID? There was a lot of things that they did that we know that they shouldn't have done. Why did they let go of the consultant that they had? Why? Because he found more things. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I just want to remind the public, we have a 3-minute max for public comments. So.
It's okay. Adelante, Blanca.
Good afternoon, members of the council. My name is Blanca Morales. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Calexico Wellness Center nonprofit clinic. We've been here for 5 years. Katie, I've never seen you here in the city of Calexico up until now, fighting for this one district. I've seen you at Heffernan Healthcare District. Never once did you want to collaborate with us. The pandemic hit, it exposed a lot of us. I think there needs to be a forensic audit with every healthcare district and every hospital. We've all been working in silos, so we all need to be realistic about where we've been, where we're going, and it's a healthcare crisis. Homeless is a healthcare crisis. We need behavioral health. You guys used to have an urgent care here. What happened? We never hear from your clinic. We never know that there was never an urgent care here in Calexico since I've been here. We're now trying to open one. Heffernan Healthcare District hasn't been transparent with their money, okay? And Heffernan Healthcare District has been trying to open an urgent care for 2 years. There's been a lot of expenses there. I doubt we're gonna have any money left over. We've been paying taxes for 25 years without a hospital. Where you been? Okay? So we need to keep an open mind. We need to make changes. This may not be the answer to our problems, but it's a start. But we haven't had a hospital in 25 years. Now we can't even have babies be born in El Centro. My son was born there. Okay, so for us to travel to Brawley is not realistic. Do you have solutions? Do we have transportation now? We don't. Okay, so let's start with there's problems, but we have to have solutions. 25 years without a hospital is unacceptable. I'm sorry, but we have to start somewhere. Let's change it. Thank you. Be part of the solution, not part of the problem. And don't be criticizing, because you have issues too. We all have issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Mr. Hernandez. Not Hermosillo, Mr. Hernandez.
Good evening, Mayor Ureña, esteemed council members and community members. Guillermo Hernandez with the Office of Assemblymember Garcia. I understand that there's a 3-minute time limit, so just want to keep that in mind. As a representative of Assemblymember Garcia, I'm honored to stand before you today on behalf of our office to express our heartfelt gratitude for all those who voted in support of AB 918 and called in during the Senate Governance and Finance Committee to endorse AB 918, the Imperial Valley Healthcare District. This is a momentous occasion for our community, and I believe that it's crucial for us to join and ratify their letter of support that's important to this bill. The formation of the Imperial Valley Healthcare District holds tremendous potential to address the pressing healthcare challenges we face with the consolidation and coordination of medical services, including the acquisition of El Centro Regional Medical Center. Improved healthcare access and cost-saving benefits will be brought to our underserved population. This bill is not just about hospitals and medical facilities. It's about the health and welfare of our community. By unifying our healthcare system, we can improve patient outcomes, enhance service efficiency, elevate the standard of care, and reduce overall costs, and ensure growth and prosperity for our future. Assemblymember Garcia has been a steadfast advocate for the well-being of our community. His dedication to addressing our healthcare needs and championing AB 918 is evident. With his leadership, we can pave the way for a stronger, more sustainable healthcare system in the Imperial Valley. Residents of Calexico hold a significant stake in the success of the Imperial Valley Healthcare District. Calexico's population includes a substantial number of seniors and uninsured population, making this bill even more vital to our well-being. By supporting AB 918, we're taking a proactive step towards addressing access to care, timely and efficient healthcare services, reducing unnecessary duplication, and realizing significant cost savings. In addition, I want to emphasize that our office is eager to continue meeting with community members interested in shaping this policy. Today, we met with a number of individuals from the public who had questions about the bill, ranging from PMH board members to employees of PMH and constituents. These concerned citizens want to clarify the facts and understand the implications fully. We recognize that everyone had really good questions and would like to highlight that these meetings took place, like I said, today in person with the member and myself. Thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
Thank you.
Another public comment? Adelante, señora Mendoza.
Good evening, Mayor Ureña, Mayor Pro Tem Romo, Council, management team, and community members. My name is Jaisal Mendoza. I'm the district representative for the office of Senator Steve Padilla. As you all may be aware, AB 918 has now moved on to the Senate floor to start going through committees and appropriations. So I am just here basically to speak in regards to what I have observed and our office has observed. We've kind of been standing on the sidelines as this process has gone by, eyes and ears, trying to see the picture overall. And as leadership, I would ask that you all take a step back and observe the situation, look at it objectively. Unfortunately, there's a lot of at stake right now. The well-being of our community is at stake. There is a lot of arguing, fighting, opinions, uncertainty, questions, concerns, which are very valid because this is a very serious situation. There are plenty of questions that are on the table. So as our leadership, elected leadership, that chose to take these positions and make the decisions, who were placed there by our constituents, for a reason, I ask that all of that be looked at and taken into consideration as we move forward. I ask that we all try to work together in a respectful manner. Not trying to say that everyone's been disrespectful, but what I do want to point out is that as government, I mentioned this earlier in a meeting, it is part of the beauty and the beast of having a democracy. The fact that we all are entitled to our opinions, as we should, because that challenges us, that pushes us to look for something better and improve. But with that being said, we are in a time crunch. Everything is constantly getting out of hand. We are in a position where we need to start making decisions and moving forward as a group. There will be items that will be addressed through legislation. There will be items that will be made vague because that will be left on the future leadership that will be voted in if and when this becomes, whether it's pioneers, whether it's AB 918, whatever the situation ends up being. But the purpose of me being here today is asking for everyone to please take a step back, look at it, set our individual, personal differences aside, look at this objectively, and start having the conversations. Get all the players in the room, between legislative offices, all of the players from LAFCO to the hospitals to Heffernan, because everyone has a stake in this battle. and ask those questions, because oftentimes as we walk into these meetings and circumstances, there are lots of questions. Well, I have a question for them on this, here, there, we haven't. I believe it's necessary for all of us to sit down, do that, hash it out, move forward in a respectful manner, but it needs to happen today. It needed to have happened yesterday. So again, I ask you all to please take a step back, look at this objectively, make your decision, entertain the conversations, and help us push forward and be the voice of us taking action now instead of waiting until, or having it come to the point where it may be too late. So thank you for your time and consideration. If you have any questions, please reach out to our office. We are also here to help and support. Like I said, AB 918 is on the Senate floor, and we are here to help bring clarity, open avenues of communication, and hopefully be able to get somewhere very soon because it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on, seeing no further comments, moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any motions for consent?
Mayor Ureña, I want to get a bit of clarification in regards to item number 8 on the consent agenda.
There was a minor correction on item number 8. It's listed on the ARPA fund, 91927. We've listed item number 12, which is the breathing apparatuses, when it should be item number 11. Do we need a motion to correct that, or can we just vote on it? It's a minor scriptures error.
We can enter that correction into the record.
Okay.
You can put it on the record.
Okay, we don't need a special motion, so we'll, it's been noted, and we'll go ahead and move on the consent agenda if there's any motions.
So moved.
So moved. Mr. Moreno, is there a second? Second. Second by Vice Mayor Romo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Council.
Yep.
Moving on to discussion and potential action items, interim police chief adopting a budget amendment resolution for the reallocation of resources to police and recreation. Briefly, if I may, myself and Councilman Manzanares, seeing two particular needs, budgetary holes, one in the police department and one in the recreation department. Recreation department is about $15,000 short of what Heffernan used to give them, which is $50,000. And the other one is to facilitate some negotiations for the police department. If this council so agrees, we're giving up our health insurance to make up those specific $15,000 budget holes for this year. Is there a motion
Discussion?
or discussion? If there's
Thank
any?
you. So my understanding is Heffernan didn't give 50,000? Is that what it was? And so there's a deficiency on that?
Yes. Last year, I believe it was 1 or 2 years ago, Heffernan used to pay $50,000 to recreation for senior programs. They took that away. We responded by giving $100,000, and then in this year's budget, we had to cut down on recreation, so now we're at 35. So Manzanares' 15th will get you back to what Heffernan
Okay.
was giving.
And do we know the reason why Heffernan said no, the 15,000? Is it supposed to do it or no? Who knows the host on that?
Supposedly to put it into the urgent care.
Okay.
But obviously it had a big impact on our community, specifically the senior community. Okay.
Okay.
Just good clarification point for the
Yeah.
public to know.
Yeah, it's another clarification on item 11. This was brought forward by two council members, the mayor and Councilmember Manzanares. On the staff, on the agenda says interim police chief.
Yes, this was our
So correction again.
initiative. All right, any motions on this?
This is still, I have discussion.
Adelante.
Carlos, did you get a chance to read this item?
Yes.
Yeah? Is it okay? Legally, from the legal standpoint?
Correct. The council would have to vote on it since it's a reallocation of money, so the council itself. Yes, I said yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So, excuse me, so I have the floor. Thank you. Because back in February 2021, I asked the same question. If I could do the same action that this council is taking right now, and actually it was on the first day that I came into council back in July 2020, where I gave up my benefits, my medical benefits, and up until today, I have not collected any medical benefits. And if you keep in mind that those benefits amount to at least 2,000 plus a month because I will have the family coverage. And when I asked if I could use this money to put it back into the city, and at that time, having a conversation with Gabi, where she was struggling with an old computer, I said, if I can give back this money, first thing that we're gonna get is get you a new computer. Second thing, we're gonna put something in recreation. And in that, order, we'll give something to each department. I have an opinion right here from legal that says that that's not doable. So, unless.
Truth and transparency.
Right there, Carlos, because that will be considered.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. So I still have the floor.
We cannot be having outbursts in the council.
I mean, yeah, I'm just reading this
Well,
right here, so I
we
gotta.
might be able to take this action, but the council cannot decide where this money is going to be allocated. What I was told, it was that this money was going to go back to the general fund. So my contribution, excuse me, I'm still.
I'm just asking for the paper.
So, what I'm just asking is that if this action goes through, I want to be able to go retroactive and have that money be allocated for the city, for the departments as I choose to do so. Just like Councilman, Manzanares and Ureña are doing now, I want to be able to do that.
Before we
I'm reading as we speak. I think. Yeah, I think what we're.
If I may just respond.
Yeah,
real
and I can
quickly.
review this. I think what it is. I think here was, say, obviously, if the council member themselves opted, say,
It was voluntarily.
You yourself give it to somebody,
Right.
give it to
The
another
council
entity,
decides
then
where it
that's where you're essentially cashing out money, and which you can't. The only reason you're limited in your compensation based on the population size. The only reason you're able to get health benefits is because the other staff, executive staff, receive it. Just kind of glancing, I think the issue here, the difference there is that if an individual said, I'm not going to receive, my stipend, and I myself want to give it to X, that's when it would become compensation because you're.
But isn't that the action that is taking place here? Because they're saying it's going to go to the police
Mr.
department. And I'm not picking.
Yeah, no, I think.
I will answer your
Let me
question.
just clarify.
No, I'm asking for legal. No,
No, I
I will
think
be
the
answering your
difference.
question on council and
Yeah, the
action.
difference here is this is coming before the city council.
Yes.
And the city council as a whole,
But on this one right here, you were asked, what are the options?
Bringing this
Okay.
conversation back
Excuse me.
to.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
I have the floor.
Under municipal code, I am allowed to give you the floor.
Yeah, I'm
and
happy
to take it away.
to discuss it further.
So
That's
I'm
what
going
I'm-
to answer the question.
Under this question,
Excuse me.
under
Any
this
out?
question, you
Excuse
were
me.
asked,
I'm going
what
to
were
answer the
options
question.
For this council member.
Any
to
outbursts?
Have this option.
Yes. If
be
there
looked
will
at.
if there
Okay,
continue
and
to be
I was-
outbursts,
yeah,
Mr. Garcia, I'm trying to answer your question.
I'm not looking for an answer from you. I'm looking for an answer from the attorney.
I'm not
That's it.
ask- I'm not
I'm not even
asking you-
entertaining your answer, Mr. Ureña.
Mr. Garcia, please, you're out of order.
I'm not. I'm not.
You are out of order. I will
I'm not.
declare you out of order.
I'm not.
To answer the question, not on the legal basis, but first, I don't know what guidance Mayor Fernandez and previous city manager, excuse me, any outburst and you will be escorted out. Please, we're trying to have a civil discussion.
Stop saying my name.
And another outburst and you will be escorted out of this building. As we're trying to explain to Mr. Garcia what is going on, excuse me, those profanities will get you escorted out of this building. And for the record, to answer, yes, I really am trying to bring it back to the floor. While this council can't answer to why previous councils and previous city managers did not correctly inform you that yes, while you have the legal right to give up the city insurance, it's still the council's decision where to allocate it. So for the next meeting, if you so wish, we can put your allocation and correct the problem that was created 2 years ago. If you so wish, would you like to put on the floor a specific allocation to consider?
I wish that this is looked at and it's been looked at retroactively to go back and really do the action that you're doing now, because it wasn't neither the mayor or the council, it went to legal for options as to how this could be done. I didn't know how to go about this process, but legal was here, staff was here, and so now, the option was there. And yes, I'm not looking for an answer from you. I know what you have in your item, but what I'm asking for this to be corrected and go retroactive.
Can I see the document?
No, you may not.
Before you continue, Mr. Campos, per Brown Act, do I have the right to see that document? It has to be made for the public, independently. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't say. I mean, it just has a dialogue going back and forth.
It's also a public document, so we can look it up. But just to answer, to ask the question again, as you've read that document, it was talking about the process by which we allocate the funds that come out of some savings. Is that correct?
No, it dealt more with that specific. Yeah, the option wasn't put on the table. I'm not sure why we didn't discuss that option, but this question was asked. But yeah, there wasn't. It looks like we didn't talk about other options to make it happen. At that point, it was, can I do?
There was no follow through, Carlos.
It was.
The question was posed to you. So, you came back with an opinion. You had another expert look at. They were citing a case that was looked at as a precedent, where we couldn't decide as to how this money was allocated, because that will be considered, also compensation. That was the reason why I was put a stop to it, and they said it's going to go to the general fund, which against my will, but it's there. Has been going to the general fund, about $2,300 a month. So I just don't want to take the credit for that, but public.
Mr. Campos, you were going to answer?
Oh, no, I think, he did ask for alternatives. We didn't, for whatever reason, it looks like there's no alternatives how to do it. But the way the question was asked, you couldn't accomplish it that way. But I did see that he did ask for other alternatives. So the opinion just dealt with how, on the way the question was asked, you could not do that. But yeah, it looks like there was no discussion on other alternatives, right, going to council with the budget amendment as was done in this case.
In this case, okay. Ms. Scolio, were you going to explain?
Yes.
And this item was teed up actually by the city manager's office.
Yes, so that usually is an administrative situation in which we as managers, we need to do the follow-up. And that's exactly what I did. One of the things that is presented in open session is because I cannot amend the budget unless you as a city council vote. I don't have that authority, and that's what I bring it over here. Perhaps in the past, they might be able to do it. I don't know, but I'm following the rules, and the rules I went through the council so that we can do it in an orderly manner. Now, if you want to do retroactive, I'm just going to remind you that once a fiscal year is closed, it's closed. I cannot impact a fiscal year that is closed. So we can go retroactive, maybe for this fiscal year, and reallocate the funds. However you want to do it, it's up to you. You, the city council members, the vote. I'm just a staff.
As I was saying, it's very unfortunate that there was no follow-up from the previous city manager, as the question was very clearly asked and alternatives were provided. No follow-up was given, and I can't apologize on behalf of Miguel or the ex-mayor, but I'll offer that apology now. And if you would like to work with If you would like to work with Ms. Scolio to develop a budget amendment that gets Camilo's funds to it is where he believes that they should go, to bring it to council, and we would happily vote on that to remedy that issue from that lack of follow-up from the previous city manager.
It wasn't the city manager, just to let you know.
According
Or the mayor. Thank you.
There's a motion on the floor?
And I wasn't the mayor then, okay?
Excuse me,
Mayor,
excuse
I
me.
wasn't the mayor then. He said I was the mayor. I wasn't the mayor when Mr. Garcia came on, okay? So it wasn't my duty.
Okay,
Trying to baby.
okay. Please control your outbursts. Is there a motion?
There's somebody else?
Oh,
No, you're not
miss,
gonna?
you have a comment on this item?
Yeah.
Thank you for allowing me to insert myself, and the only reason that I do this is because I consider myself to be a leader of the community, and just coming up here and asking for respect in general, it is disheartening to see certain behaviors, and I'm not necessarily trying to target or anything. As the general public, it is okay to voice our opinions, but I please ask for everybody to be respectful. We continuously find ourselves in situations where we don't get anywhere because of these situations. So I'm here asking the public and council to please be respectful towards one another. And maybe I'm overstepping, but I feel it as my duty as a resident of Calexico, as a leader, to please emphasize that there's a lot going on. Let's try to change and work together in a respectful manner. We can agree to disagree, but please, it is exhausting to constantly see this. So again, my apologies for inserting myself. I just didn't feel right walking away, not saying something, and asking everybody to please be mindful of that. Thank you. Excuse me.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Yeah, before I make
Or
the motion,
question?
I would like to, my question is for Esperanza. As a city administrator, what are your recommendation for us? What is your recommendation?
So one of the reasons why I bring these items is because I want this to be transparent, and that's what is being placed at the city council meetings. I'm not the one who makes those decisions. I just react to whatever the city council wants to do, and I bring in a review it, and I present it to you, and then you make a decision.
Okay.
I'm not here to give you a recommendation. It's up to
Okay,
you as a city
that's
council
fine.
member.
That's fair. But I'm saying is, this is a matter that's not has to be recommended by her. In other words,
No.
it has to be decided by us.
By us, yes. If we want to allocate these monies to police and recreation departments.
Okay. I vaguely remember that. I think it was voluntarily. I think I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Vice Mayor Romo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
No.
Aye. Aye.
Motion passes. Mr. Manzanares?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-1. Moving on to the next item. Urgency ordinance adopting police department military equipment use policy for 120 days. I would like to make a motion to approve unless anybody has...
Second.
Second, unless anybody has any discussion. No? Seeing no discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Mr.
Aye.
Manzanares? Councilman?
Aye.
Councilman Manzanares, your vote?
Can you hear me?
We cannot hear you. Yes or no? On the motion to adopt?
Am I be able to be listened correctly in the council chambers?
The motion is to approve
No,
item
no,
number...
no, I understand, but can you hear me fine?
No, we cannot hear you all
Okay,
that well.
I'm just gonna vote yes, and I'll make a comment when I'm in person. My vote is yes.
Yes, okay. Motion passes 5-0, and we will be adjourning this meeting at 8:43. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Second? Second by Ms. Romo. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.